Hey there, it's Liz Gracia, and welcome to another episode of your weekly dose of higher consciousness on Trumpeter of Truth TV.com on YouTube and on the podcast at trumpeteroftruthradio.com. This is the place to discover what I call the foundational basics and essential understandings for raising your level of consciousness and building a better life. And this episode is your weekly dose of higher consciousness quiz. And if you saw the earlier episode about this week's topic, which is all about the level of consciousness of reason and the mind, which is 400, I shared what the quiz is about. So this week's quiz is, which place of spiritual interest is of higher consciousness? Is it the Vatican, the Taj Mahal, or the Washington National Cathedral? Now, they are all of higher consciousness for sure. In fact, they all calibrated at 500 or above, which is the level of love. 500 is the level of love, which is the non-linear spiritual realm, which is interesting that they're spiritual places of interest. So let's take a look at the Vatican. And I'm going to read a little bit about the Vatican. If you've never been, it's the kind of the holy, so it's where the Catholic Church and the cardinals and the Pope reside, is at the Vatican. And it's kind of the governmental body, spiritual body of the Catholic Church. So let me just see what the Wikipedia has to say about the Vatican. So it's called the Holy See, S-E-E, or the governing body of the Catholic Church and sovereign entity recognized by international law, consisting of the Pope and the Roman Curia. It's a metonym for the governments of the Catholic Church, particularly when attributing doctrine. And Vatican City is a city-state ruled by the Pope in Rome, including St. Peter's Basilica, the Sistine Chapel, and the Vatican Museums. So that's first up on which is of highest consciousness. And again, please understand that just because something is of higher consciousness does not make it better at all. It's just a different energy field. There's different energies going on in these fields. So the Vatican is the first one. And the next one up is the Taj Mahal, which is pretty interesting to me. And the Taj Mahal is in India. In fact, it's in Agra, Uttar Pradesh, India. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. Okay, so according to Wikipedia, the Taj Mahal is also known as the Crown of the Palace. It's an ivory white marble mausoleum on the south bank of the Yamuna River in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. I'm not sure how the pronunciation is of this, forgive me, who reigned from 1628 to 1658. And it was created to house the tomb of his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal. Holy crow. First of all, I didn't know it was built in the 1600s. That's huge. And that it was built as a tomb. It also houses the tomb of Shah Jahan himself. The tomb is a centerpiece of a 17 hectares, also 42-acre complex, which includes a mosque and a guest house, and is set in formal gardens bounded by three sides on a crenellated wall, whatever that means. It was essentially completed in 1643, but work continued on other phases of the project for another 10 years. The Taj Mahal complex is believed to have been completed in its entirety in 1653 at a cost estimated at the time to be around 32 million rupees, which in, holy crow, listen to this, which in 2020 would be approximately 70 billion rupees, which is about $916 million. Wow, that's a ton of dough to spend in the 1600s. Can you imagine? The construction project employed some 20,000 artisans under the guidance of a board of architects led by the court architect to the emperor, Ustad Ahmad Lahori. And the Taj Mahal was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983 for being the jewel of Muslim art in India and one of the universally admired masterpieces of the world's heritage. It is regarded by many as the best example of Mughal architecture and a symbol of India's rich history. The Taj Mahal attracts 7 to 8 million visitors a year, and in 2007, it was declared a winner of the New Wonders of the World initiative. Holy crow, I did not know the history of that. I hope you found that one super interesting. So that's second on our list of which is of highest consciousness, the Vatican, or the Taj Mahal, or the Washington National Cathedral. Let me get some history on that. Hold on while I Wikipedia it. This is where I'm getting all this information, by the way. I don't calibrate the truth of it because I don't really know how to do that on my own. Okay, then Washington National Cathedral. Huh. Wikipedia has nothing about the Washington National Cathedral. I can't believe that. Hold on. Huh. I'm wondering if the let me just Google it. Sorry to keep you waiting, guys, but you know, it's interesting. We're learning something new. The Washington National Cathedral. Okay. So let me just read what it has to say about the Washington National Cathedral. That it's the Cathedral Church of St. Peter and St. Paul in the city and diocese of Washington, commonly known as the Washington National Cathedral. It's an American cathedral of the Episcopal Church. Good to know. I did not know this. The cathedral is located in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. It's on 3101 Wisconsin Avenue. Oh, interesting people that are buried here. Huh. Helen Keller, Woodrow Wilson, Matthew Shepard. I think that was the young gay gentleman that was beat to death in Wyoming, as I recall. Admiral George Dewey, Bishop Satterlee, and the architects Henry Vaughan and Philip Froham. Oh, the architects of the cathedral. Wow. You guys got to see it. You got to go Google this and see the picture of this cathedral. It's amazing. I'm not sure when it was built. Let's see if I can find out. Hold on. And then I'll give you the answer. Who pays for the National Cathedral? That's good to know. Okay, the structure was built over 83 years ago, funded by donations large and small from all across the United States. The Protestant Episcopal Cathedral Foundation continues to operate the cathedral, and its construction, maintenance, and upkeep have been privately funded. Good to know. All right. So which of those three is of highest consciousness? Do you have an idea of what it might be? There's some hints in the descriptions that I've given you today as to which may be of highest consciousness. So here's the answer. And again, higher consciousness does not mean better. At these levels, at 500 and above, which all of them are, they serve the highest good for the world. So to go visit any of these, and it's like a bucket list thing you'd want to do when you understand levels of consciousness, that you would want to visit these. So on the low end, which is not low, the Washington National Cathedral calibrates at 530 on the map of consciousness. The Vatican, interestingly, calibrates at 570 on the map of consciousness. which is a quantum leap above the Washington National Cathedral. That's 10 to the 530th power versus 10 to the 570th power. But what's interesting about the Vatican is that the level of consciousness of a saint is, I thought it was 575, it could be 570, but I think the level of consciousness of a saint is 575, which is pretty interesting and not surprising that the Vatican is in the energy field of sainthood, right? Which is super high energy, amazing grace, lovingness. And in fact, the kind of spiritual Christmas music of Amazing Grace, Holy Night, I can't remember them all right now. Anyway, there's the level of consciousness of that type of music is 575 on the map of consciousness as well. So the energy is all similar. Super, you want to be in that presence, let me tell you. It's good mojo going on there. Now, if you guessed that the Taj Mahal was of the highest level of consciousness, you are correct. It is an enormous quantum leap up from the other two at 750 on the map of consciousness, which is huge. 750. This is beyond the land of the mystic. This is the level of highest truth where at the level of the mystic sage, it's 700 on the map of consciousness. And in fact, Gandhi calibrated at 760 on the map of consciousness, which is still a quantum leap above the Taj Mahal, but still, it's pretty huge, this calibration. And what's interesting as I was reading it is to understand that 20,000 artisans helped, and architects. This is like artisans and architects. This is the land of beauty and design and aesthetic, which is super high vibe. So if you get the chance to visit the Taj Mahal, you're going to want to go there and really soak in the energy of that energy field of 750. So that's it for this week's weekly dose of higher consciousness. There's some great bucket list places to go, and I'm totally going to put these on. I've already been to the Vatican, but I want to go to the Washington National Cathedral for sure, and the Taj Mahal sounds like a great bucket list getaway to India. Hope you found this enjoyable, and check out my other 2 videos from your weekly dose of higher consciousness this week. Next up is the 101 Ways to Success number 2, which you'll find on our Thursday broadcast, and the level of consciousness of the mind from the teachings of Dr. David R. Hawkins. That's our major topic that you'll find published on every Tuesday. So this week, those are the other 2. If you like what's going on here, or if you'd like the consciousness calibrations of something throughout history that I could find, ask about it, and I'll see if I can find the calibrations of it all. And if you want to find the calibrations of all this good stuff, you can get Dr. Hawkins' book, Truth versus Falsehood. It's got a lot of them in there, and it's a great encyclopedia of consciousness calibrations to kind of really realign your own energy field and put everything into context as opposed to guessing. You don't have to guess anymore. This is where we've been in life. We got consciousness, energy, understanding all over the map because we don't know where we are. Now, when you put it into context, you kind of shore it up in a nice organized fashion so you can decide where you want to be on the map of consciousness. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week.